Okay, so sorry that the lighting is not the greatest. We're still trying to figure it out, and I'm recording off my webcam, so I'm very limited on where I can go. But anyway, I'll talk at the end of this video about where I've been, why it was gone so long. So if you don't care about that, you can just watch the video, you can just get the review, and then you don't have to listen to all the ramblings. But anyway, let's just get into the long overdue topic of today. We're going to talk about Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. So let's get started with the story. So obviously the story, like any of the Yakuza, judgment by this company game, obviously there's a lot more to it, but the basis of the story, without really giving spoilers and kind of what starts everything, is it's a few years after Yakuza Like a Dragon. Ichi and the crew have all, just gone back to their jobs or started jobs, all good stuff. But there comes a scandal of what appears to be some online personality saying that Ichi is accepting money and going under the table to help former Yakuza get work instead of being honest about it, so he gets fired from his job. And then also gets a letter to say, he gets a letter to say he needs to meet his mom in Hawaii. That's about the basic premise of the story and what gets everything kicked up, started. So anyway, let's move on to the gameplay. Okay, so with the gameplay, there's a lot that kind of goes into it. So this is just like the other Like a Dragon game. It's a turn-based RPG. You have different classes and everything. So for anybody who maybe doesn't really know, it's not like the original Yakuza games, but odds are you probably already knew this, because if you're playing Infinite Wealth, you probably played Yakuza Like a Dragon. There are some updated things to the battle. For instance, they wanted to emphasize on trying to get bonus damage dealt. So in the first game you weren't really able to move your character, but in this game you do have a circumference, which a circle circumference, which as you level up grows bigger, so that way you can move your character around to try and get back attacks or just close proximity that will do extra damage. And depending on if you have built up relationship levels with your party members, you can also get it so that way you can do, if you move close enough, you can do combo attacks with them and everything, which I always went for back attacks. I feel like they tended to do the most, but that's just me. There's also, of course, as per usual, plenty of mini games and side quests, and I did almost all the side quests. I missed a few, but same with Like a Dragon. I did as many of the side quests as I could. And in this game there are also, everybody has a class that is specific to them, such as Ichi's the only one who can be the hero class, and then Kiryu is the only one who can have the Dragon of Dojima. I believe that's what the class is called. So everybody has a specific to them class, but of course you can change anybody's class. For just as a side note, for Kiryu especially, I do highly just recommend leaving him with his particular class, because one, it works really cool. It takes the aspects of having the fighting stances of the original Yakuza games, and he's apparently not ever going to use a weapon anyway, so it's honestly it's the best class for him. And especially because there are sequences later in the game where, when you're playing specifically as Kiryu, you go around and collect memories and do things that will power up these certain aspects of that class. So it's high, like the fighting stances of that class, so it's highly recommended to just leave him at that class. At least that's what I would recommend, and just about everybody else would too. Of course, have your returning things, such as you have the pound mates that you can call in battle, and they can all be very useful. There are, you know, of course, your variety of bosses and everything like that. And you do play in Hawaii and Japan. And I highly recommend doing things like building up the relationships with your party members, even if that's not something you normally do. You can always skip the little cutscenes and everything if you're like, I don't really care, I just want to get through it. You can always skip them and just get through the dialogue, especially on repeat playthroughs, just to get up the bonuses, because having them be able to like dual attack with you and just getting all that good stuff, it's the only way you're gonna get all that extra good damage and just become really like powerful and buff and OP. But yeah, the gameplay, always, like, I was playing on PS5 copy, it runs perfectly smooth, game looks really good, it's fun to mess around like with the classes and everything. So gameplay, honestly, definitely, it just continuing on the rising trend of getting better. So anyway, let's go on to my thoughts and opinions. And opinions on this game. So I'm just gonna say now, without giving spoilers, I highly recommend this game. Very good. Yes, I'm fiddling with a dog brush, don't question me. Now, it's very hard to talk about this game kind of without giving away spoilers or anything, so just be kind of forewarned. I mean, the game's been out for a while, so, you know, for the most part you should be good to go, but spoilers kind of. So, I really like in this game how they did do a whole, sorry about the AC kicking on, there's like 2 campaigns basically, because about halfway through Kiryu has to go back to Japan, so then you have him and his party in Japan, and then you will switch back like every other chapter to Ichi and his party in Hawaii. And the Kiryu one, you can tell they definitely are wrapping up Kiryu's saga, and I'm gonna say, if you see, be careful with what you read online, because I had accidentally read something that was spoiler about how Kiryu's story ends in the game. It was not true, having played the game, so just be careful with that. But you can definitely tell it's like a wrap-up. I would recommend it, if you haven't played the previous Yakuza games, there's gonna be a lot of like Kiryu's going and talking to certain characters and everything, because he has the whole arc of he has cancer. So, you know, he's going and talking to pretty big key characters from past Yakuza games, and they're like memories around that you go and he'll kind of reminisce on something that happened in, you know, one of the previous Yakuza games. Nothing necessarily like extremely spoiler heavy that would just completely ruin the Yakuza games if you haven't played them, but if you want a little more context and for, I guess, the things to hit the way they're supposed to, if you will, I would definitely try to play the Yakuza games first. I also have not actually, because you are supposed to play that for like story sake and everything, I have it, but I have not played The Man Who Erased His Name, which is like a kind of shorter Yakuza. I think you can beat it in like 12 hours or something. So it's like a little shorter extra sub-story game, which covers Kiryu after Yakuza Like a Dragon, but before Infinite Wealth. So, like I said, I haven't played that. I do own it. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'd probably also recommend playing that first. And now there also is, it's a very tiny and easy to miss cameo by 2 kind of side main characters from the Judgment games because they have, I think most people who are fans of Yakuza know about them, but Judgment and Lost Judgment, I do have a video on my channel talking about Judgment, by the way. There is a little cameo by 2 characters from that game. They don't say anything, their names aren't mentioned. Like, it doesn't ruin the game at all, but if you have played Judgment, it's a little nod, you'll know who they are. So, you know, that's kind of fun and exciting. And people do kind of, in order to get a little bit of that cameo and everything, recommend playing Lost Judgment, which is the second game before Infinite Wealth, but they are completely separate series, so you can very easily play Yakuza without playing Judgment and vice versa. So you don't need to, because it seems like, and I don't think the studio is wanting to truly combine the games. It was just meant to be a fun little like cameo. So just as a side note, but I mean, if you haven't played it, I do recommend Judgment, and so far Lost Judgment, I haven't beaten it yet, but I am about halfway almost through Lost Judgment. I highly recommend those games. Very fun. But honestly, this game, it was well worth the wait, in my opinion. I really enjoyed my time with it, and like the fact that just stuff kept happening, that it took me a bit longer to beat the game, I was very sad about, but extremely recommend, worth checking out. I honestly give this game like a 9 out of 10. So, to kind of get into why I was gone for so long. So, back in the beginning of May, I actually injured my right hand, like mostly right here, but there was some injury to like the back, but that didn't affect anything. But with injuring my hand here, I could not do anything. Like I couldn't move my thumb or my forefinger. So I couldn't grab things, I couldn't write, I couldn't barely cook. Everything I had to do with my left hand. So obviously I wasn't able to play any games, and it took a few weeks to heal. And then in that time, we learned that Senor Sylveon was going to be shipped out with the army in about like mid-ish, early-ish July. So by the time my hand had healed, and then we learned this, I was like, well, it's gonna be such a short time before, we go to, like, we move with the army. So I was like, okay, I don't want to get it back into streaming and video making just to stop again, so I'll just wait. And then we got here, and then of course we had to wait for our stuff to get here, which took like a month. We didn't get it till mid-August. And then we had to get our house together, which, being pregnant with 3 young children, also, like, I'm not pregnant with 3 kids, I'm not pregnant with triplets, just 1, but being pregnant, like, I'm due in December, and then, having 3 young kids, and then Senor Sylveon, obviously he's got to go to work and everything. It took a while to get the house put together. So, we're here now. We're back with videos. We're back with streaming. Everything's all good to go. A-okay. So if you do want to see more videos like this and keep up with that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I upload every Friday. I also have my second channel linked down below that has like some vlogs, some talking and reviews about trashy reality TV like 90 Day Fiancé, fun stuff like always. Instagram, Twitter, which I was keeping those pretty updated during this time. Those are also linked down below, as well as my Twitch. I stream Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. I am now in Central Time, not Pacific Standard. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!